Eleni, the wife of a very rich man, spent the summer on an island in the Aegean Sea doing archaeological research. One day, her stepson comes to visit. The sea, the sun, the shepherd, with ancient half-lingual rites. A handsome youth, not yet an old woman. No one remembered what happened in ancient Greece. House on the Rock is an erotic film with scenes that are not the focus of the film, but are integrated into the film as a matter of course, as long as they are included at all in the respective version that are distributed internationally. In the present version, the German theatrical version contains one for the change from the dramatical first act to the second and shortly thereafter another one that appears to have been shortened, after which the film appears incomplete. Nevertheless, the film convinces with romantic nature, short and its story about a man's love for his stepmother, who at 38 is significantly older than usual in love films. Role of Elena is played by Bente Børsum. Bente Børsum is a Norwegian actress, probably best known for her roles in the movies Mos Hus and Reisen till Charles Chernen. Børsum had her debut in the movie Jakten in 1959 and worked at Oslo Night Theatre from 1979. She retired from regular performance in 2005 with her performance in the play The House of Bernarda Alba by Federico Garcia Lorca. Since then, she has continued to perform, however, and has toured the country with her monologue about her mother, meant for a stealing or more. Børsum's mother, Lise Børsum, was involved in the Norwegian resistance movement in World War II and spent time in Ravensbrück concentration camp. When she returned, she abandoned her husband and child. Børsum's grandfather was the composer Eyvind Elnes. The cinema of Greece has a long and rich history. Though hampered at times by war or political instability, the Greek film industry dominates the domestic market and has experienced international success. Characteristics of Greek cinema include a dynamic plot, strong character development, and erotic themes. Two Greek films, Missing an Eternity and a Day, have won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. 5 Greek films have received nomination for the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film. Though Greek cinema took root in the early 19th, the first mature film weren't produced until the 1920s, after the end of the Greco-Turkish War. Films during this period, such as Astero by Dimitris Gaziadis and Maria Pentaziotissa by Ahilias Medras, consisted of emotional melodramas with an abundance of folkloristic element. Orestes, Lascaux, Daphnis and Cole, one of the first Greek films to be shown abroad, contained the first voyeuristic scene in a European film. During the Axis occupation, the Greek film industry struggled as it was forced to relocate overseas. Following the Greek Civil War, Greek cinema experienced a revival. Inspired by Italian neo-realism, directors such as Grigoris Grigoriou and Stelios Tatasopoulos created work during this period shot on location using non-professional actors. During the 1950s and 1960s, Greek cinema experienced a golden age, starting with Michael Kakeyianni's Stella, which was screened at Cannes. The 1960 film Never on Sunday was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, and its lead actress Melina Mercury won the Best Actress award at Cannes. Kakoyannis Zoba the Greek won 3 Academy Awards. Other films released in this era, such as The Counterfeit Coin and The Ogre of Athens, are nowadays considered some of the greatest work of Greek cinema. Censorship policies of the 1967 junta and rising foreign competition led to a decline in Greek cinema. After the restoration of democracy in the mid-1970s, the Greek film industry again flourished, led by director Theo Angelopoulos, whose film captured international recognition, making him probably the most acclaimed Greek director to date. Other acclaimed directors of this era include Nikos Nikolaides as well as Pantelis Voulgaris and Alexis Damiano, the director of the landmark film Eudokia. However, this drift toward art house cinema in the 1980s led to a decline in audiences. In the 1990s, younger Greek filmmakers began experimenting with iconographic motifs. In spite of or because of funding issues created by the financial crisis in the late 2000s, unique Greek films such as Yorgos Lanthimos' Dogtooth, Panos Koutra's Strela, and Athena Rachel Sangari's Attenborough received international acclaim, constituting what has been called the Greek Weird Wave. In the spring of 1897, the Greek of Athens was the first cinematic venture. In 1906, Greek cinema was born when the Maniakis brothers started recording in Macedonia, and the French filmmaker Leon produced the first newscast from the mid-Olympic Games of Athens. The first Cine Theatre of Athens opened about a year later, and other special projection rooms began their activity. In 1910, the first short comic movies were produced by director Spiros Dimitrakopoulos, who also starred in most of his movies. In 1911, Kostas Bachatoris presented Golfo, a well-known traditional love story, considered the first Greek feature film. In 1912 was founded the first film company, and in 1960 the ST Film. During the First World War, production was limited to documentaries and newscasts only. Directors like George Prokopiou and Dimitris Gaziadis are distinguished for filming scenes from the battlefield and later, during the Greco-Turkish War, of the effort of the Hellenic army, and finally the Great Fire of Samaria. The first commercially successful Greek film was Villa in the Women's Bath of Hellero, written, directed by and starring comedian Villa and Nista Pilosopou. In 1924, Michael, a Greek comedian, presented some short film comedies. Olympian Theatre, seat of Thessaloniki International Film Festival. In 1922, Gaziadis founded DEG Films and tried to produce the first speaking movies. This company presented its first movie, Love and Waves, in 1927 and experienced moderate success in the late 1920s and early 1930s. The company mainly produced historical movies, usually adaptation of novels. In 1930, DEG made an attempt for a speaking movie, Apache of Athens, which was based on a Greek operetta by Nikos Hagiapostoulou. Gaziadis also filmed the 1927 Delphic Festival, an idea of Angelos Sicilianos and Epaphras Sicilianos, as part of his general effort toward the revival of the Delphic idea. The event consisted of Olympic contest, an exhibition of folk art, and a performance of Prometheus Bound. In 1931 film Daphnis and Cole, directed by Orestes Lasco, contained the first voyeuristic scene in the history of European cinema. It was also the first Greek movie which was played abroad. In 1932, Olympia Film presented the speaking movie The Sephardi's Lover, which was based on a play by Dimitris Koromilas. Also influential during this period was director Achilles Madras, whose work included Maria Pentagiotissa and Sosa of Athens. During the late 1930s, a number of Greek filmmakers fled Greece due to the hostility of Metaxas regime and the material lack of ability for producing speaking movies. The Greek film industry reemerged in Turkey and later in Egypt. In spite of German occupation during World War II, Philopaemen Phinos, a film producer who was active in the Greek resistance, founded Phinos Film, which would later become one of the most commercially successful Greek studios. One of Phinos' earliest productions, Voice of the Heart, drew large audiences to the consternation of the Germans. Another important film during this period, Applause, was produced by Phinos' rival Novak Film. In 1944, Katina Paxsunu was honored with the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role as Pila in the Sam Wood film, For Whom the Bell Tolls. The 1950s and 1960s are considered by many to be the golden age of the Greek cinema. Director and actor of this era were recognized as important historical figures in Greece, and some gained international acclaim. More than 60 films per year were made, with the majority having film noir element. Notable films were The Counterfeit Coin, Bitter Bread, and The Ogre of Athens. Phinos Film and director Alekos Sakellarios collaborated on several films in the late 1950s, namely The Hurdy-Gurdy and its sequel, Laterna, Toheia Kai Garifalo, as well as Aunt from Chicago and Maiden's Cheek. The 1955 film Stella, directed by Michael Kakayanis and written by Iokos Kambellanis, was screened at Cannes and launched Greek cinema into its golden age. Melina Mercury, who starred in the film, met American expatriate director Jules Dassin at Cannes while attending the screening, and the two would eventually marry. Dassin directed the 1960 Greek film Never on Sunday, which starred Mercury. The film was nominated for several Academy Awards, including Best Actress for Mercury, and won the Academy Award for Best Song for composer Manos Hatzidakis' title track. The couple also collaborated on the 1967 musical stage adaptation Elia Darling, for which Mercury received a Tony Award nomination. She went on to star in such films as Topkapi and Phaedra, both directed by Dassin, and the 1969 American comedy Gelly Gelly. Kakoyannis' 1964 film Zoba the Greek, which starred Anthony Quinn, was a major commercial success and was nominated for the Academy Award Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Film. The movie was based on the novel Zoba the Greek by author Nikos Kazantzakis. Other important films during this period include Antigone and Electra, both of which starred Irene Papas. The Red Lantern by director Vasilis Georgiades and Battlefield Constantinople, which starred the Greek Richibardo, Aliki Vigo Klaki. The Thessaloniki International Film Festival was first held in 1960 and would subsequently evolve into the primary showcase for emerging filmmakers from Greece and the Balkan region. The festival showcases both international and Greek films and awards the Golden Alexander for the Best Feature Film. In 1969, the Costa Gavras film Z was nominated for the Academy Award for both Best Foreign Language Film and Best Picture.